Hey guys, and welcome back to the Asgardian News Network. And today, want to take a look at, of course, the new Spider-Man No Way Home trailer. We just had drop here recently. A couple really interesting, really awesome things that were shown. One, first of all, getting right into it, we finally have confirmation of multiple villains here at this point. Now, first one being getting our first true look at Sandman, another real look at Electro, which we got a cool nod to the original comic books Electro when he kind of started to use his lighting abilities there. See that same kind of like star pointed electric bolt style around his head. And of course, Sandman and Lizard. Some real finally good looks at Green Goblin, which is awesome to see, and a lot of screen time for Doc Ock. Now, very interestingly, it seems like with Doc Ock especially, I see a lot of people saying steals, but you can see that Tom Holland's Peter Parker is really struggling with the idea of having to essentially let all these people die. And I think to him, he doesn't know these villains. It's no one he's been introduced to. It's no one he's had to face. And he doesn't want to kill someone. And I feel like, especially with Tom Holland trying to preach about how dark the Spider-Man movie really is, we're really seeing that, that struggle, struggle of what's right and wrong for him throughout the whole movie. And that's where we kind of get this darker feel and this darker kind of vibe for it. And it seems like from the start, Doc Ock is trying to play things logically. And I think those scenes where we see him at the Sanctum and their fight on the little like expressway there, I think that's all pretty early in the movie. I think that's all pretty much in the earlier parts. Now, before that though, I do think this fight that we see later in the trailer around the Statue of Liberty with the Captain America shield getting built on it, which is awesome. I do think that honestly is very early in the movie, and the way it's played off in the trailer makes it seem like this is your grand finale. Here's your final face off. But I don't think that's what it is. I think ultimately what happens is we have that scene where Doctor Strange says, I can't stop them. They're coming through. And his reference to his thought is really just these villains. And so this is where we're going to see Electro, Sandman, Lizard, maybe Green Goblin kind of pop up, and they're all going to kind of come all attack Tom Holland's Peter Parker. As soon as he goes out to go fight him and he's getting destroyed, that's when we're going to see Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield pop up. And this is going to be super early in the movie. I'll give you another reason to why I think that. The first thing is, of course, everyone's drawing the comparison to MJ falling off the scaffolding, the scene with Peter reaching out to try and grab her. Same kind of feeling as Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man reaching out to try and grab Gwen Stacy, which he kills. And that's a perfect way to introduce his character is, he's here now to swoop up, grab her, do what he couldn't do, save MJ, and because he couldn't save Gwen Stacy. Now, another reason here, again, I think the same thing. A lot of people are pointing this out online here as well. For whatever reason, Sony forgot some clever editing that it seems like they did in the trailer that they released, in English version. But for whatever reason, the Brazil version of the trailer, it's very clear in that fight at the scaffolding, Lizard gets rocked, absolutely rocked. His whole face just gets smacked to his left, the right side in the trailer. But they must have edited someone out. Who are they going to edit out? It's got to be Tom Holland, or not Tom Holland. It's got to be Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield. That's the only thing that absolutely makes sense. Now, the other reason I want to point out why I feel like this is so early in the movie itself, this first little scene, is I think what's going to happen is they're going to kind of go, they're going to duke it out. They're going to kind of like both sides are going to leave a little bruised and battered. Tom Holland's going to be left talking to Toby and Andrew, while these guys go off. They run away and they go to wreak havoc elsewhere to figure out how they can stay alive. As Strange says, and Doc Ock says, you're fighting ghosts. It's their destiny to essentially die, at the hands of trying to fight Spider-Man. And I think we're gonna see this because, again, in the previous trailer and as well in this trailer, we get another look at the black and gold suit. We get a much better look at the black and gold suit here in this trailer, which is a little bit more specced out than we see for his normal suit in the rest of the trailer. We get the Iron Spider towards the end of the trailer where we get the scaffolding fight. We kind of got his normal suit with like some gold inlays on it, but this black suit seems specifically designed and engineered to fight these villains. Some kind of, way to combat the electricity. So he has that, so he can still use everything, but he's got that little like magic Doctor Strange wristwatch thing going on there as he's starting to like cast some magic spells. I don't think he really has that full ability, but I think it's some kind of trinket he confuses with, kind of the Stark tech he uses for his suits and with Doctor Strange as well. And I think this has got to be his final suit that he wears in the movie. It just seems like there's so much going on there. Looks a little jerry-rigged. Looks like he's got some sort of like phone duct taped on so he can talk to what looks like Ned and MJ. And it makes the most sense to me that his kind of one of his final scenes where he starts to duke it out with some of these villains, Sandman and Electro, is a spot where Electro is going to be, at his most powerful, in whole power grid kind of area, using all these power lines. And it just seems to make sense again if he needs to use that, magic tool from Strange there to really send these guys back, that he doesn't get that till later in the film. And that allows them to introduce those characters earlier in the film with a fight at the Captain America Statue of Liberty there, and then go on, move things through later and kind of work their way to this point. Now, I'm still on the fence, and I've started to kind of rethink about, are we really going to get a Sinister Six plotline? And it seems like it could go that way, but there seems like there's so many question marks in the air now, especially with, Doc Ock looking like, maybe he's kind of flipping sides. He doesn't seem like he's so one dimensional, one single-minded, like how we saw with him originally in Spider-Man 2. Seems like we're getting that kind of end of the movie, Doc Ock, where he's like kind of can figure out and understand what's going on, and also wants to correct things. And now, same thing in that scene, he says, "You're fighting ghosts. You're fighting ghosts." So I don't think we've gotten to this point here where he's got this new special suit. I think, again, that fight on the scaffolding and him trying to figure that out is all done before that. And I think where he sees Doc Ock then is the next day. That's the next day. And he finally sees them and has to now fight them. I really think this is the direction that we're going. I think at this point, there's no way we're not getting Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire here in this film. The scaffolding that they fight on is the same exact kind of scaffolding and background you'd expect with a blue screen, as we saw from the leaks. We saw, just leaks, footage of that scaffolding, which looks exactly correct for where they're filming and how that scene is. And the same scaffolding that we saw for the leaked video of Andrew Garfield. It doesn't make sense for them to grab all these new villains. Well, not old new villains, but grab all these old villains from the different Spider-Man series and then just chuck them in here and not bring in Tobey and Andrew Garfield. It just doesn't make sense to me. I really think this is the direction that we're going. And again, too, if we are getting a Sinister Six villain has to be Venom. I just think that's the only answer, because Vulture's still in jail unless, maybe Green Goblin goes and breaks people out. But that just seems a little bit weird to me, especially with, the Venom end credit scene where he seems to get switched over into this universe. It's just what makes sense if they are going to go a Sinister Six route. But at the same time to me, I think we're going to just kind of get a tease. And the only reason I say that is, to me, the Sinister Six should really be what it's always been. It should always be Spider-Man versus the six of the, almost worst, bigger villains that he's ever faced before. And I say that because I feel like it's not right for them to kind of rush it and chuck all these people in here. We're going to kind of get that idea and that feeling, but to me, it's really, Spider-Man's been around for a while and he's putting all these guys in jail. And now at this point, he finally has enough villains to where one finally steps in and says, "No, we're gonna shut down Peter Parker and we're all gonna team up. I'm gonna break you guys out of jail and we're gonna have our our group here." And I think that's a great way to go. If they want to get crazy, I think a funny thing, which would be kind of like a cool little Easter egg and introduction for like Miles Morales, if we had like the animated Miles Morales from Into the Spider Verse show up at some point, maybe at the ending or something ridiculous. It'd be very hard, I feel like, to get right, but that'd be kind of cool. Be an interesting direction for them to go to. But either way, I feel like this is going to be the biggest box office release since really since COVID. It's obviously theaters have kind of struggled to hit the right mark. I think this is going to hit it out of the park. Now, it also, I don't know why at this point now they just don't put Tobey and Andrew Garfield on the marketing that they've done for the movie. Doctor Strange has been plastered all over it, but I'm very excited because definitely what we have here is going to leak into Doctor Strange 2, the Multiverse of Madness. And I'm hoping we're going to still get some remnants of this movie, like maybe Toby or Andrew or something kind of getting put into that and creating a whole bigger thing on top of what we just have here. But either way, I think this is it. I think this is all we're going to see. We'll maybe get, a couple little snippets of like new footage for TV spots, but nothing more than what we're getting here. I really think we're really stuck waiting until the movie comes out at this point to get any sort of more information. But always, guys, thank you for tuning in. Let me know what you guys think, crazy theory wise down below in the comments. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. If you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon, just stay notified. I'm going to be touching probably even more on this footage as, more and more, as I have more and more time to kind of break things down and look at it a little bit further. But if you did enjoy the video, hit that like button. As always, I'll catch you guys in the next one.